So, Tracy, I'm curious to hear about what was your favorite experience or most memorable moment of the event?
What were your 10 most?
or yeah. Well,
No.
hey, it can be a few. That's fine.
Yep.
So I would say probably aside from the food that they made on the grill and the s'mores that we did over campfires and making little block buildings on the ground with one of the kids, something that kind of keeps coming to mind is I remember sitting in the truck and RJ was driving and he had said, "Oh, we're going to drift around this corner." I kind of looked at how fast we were going. I was like, well, we might be going a little fast for that. And I was like, I wonder if he's ever been trained in doing this. And just as that thought came to mind, he's like,
I've gone off into that lake before.
And as the pond went by, I was like, this is why mom and dad tell you never to get in a car with strangers, right? And just as I finished that thought in my head, he starts drifting around this corner. And when he gets done, I took a moment and I was like, Toretto would be very happy in this moment. And I think he just kicked Toretto's butt in doing any kind of drifting. So,
how much did you play with the UI in the R1s?
I am a little bit of a computer geek on the personal side, so I was a little bit interested to the best that I was allowed to play around. What I can say about it was I've kind of messed with the UI in a Tesla, and I found it for the end user to be a little, not confusing, but you're going to poke around a lot to finally find what you need. When I was messing around with it in the R1T, it was very fluid. It made sense where everything was. It was easy to find what I needed or what I was interested in seeing. So, hey, I wanted to change the direction of like the airflow inside the truck. It was easy to find where that was. You push the button and everything automatically changes direction or closes up completely, and you see all of that happening in the truck. If I wanted music, if I wanted lights, like just all of it was very fluid, very easy to find, very simplified in a positive way. I don't know if that helps.
That helps a ton because
it does.
The pre-order community is, and we, kind of say that like the super fans that are obsessed, are like, we want to see all the screens. We want to kind of know how it all flows. And it could be the answer that you provide. They're like, why haven't we seen this yet? Come on, why haven't we seen this? And it could be like their whole goal is you don't need a manual. Like it just will make sense. It will be intuitive. It will kind of go how you think it needs to. So that's a great answer. And that still won't satisfy some people, but whatever. I love it. I love that answer. You know what I mean?
I do too, because it speaks to kind of overall impressions as opposed to talking through every foreseeable detail.
I do want to hear about driving experience, but I'm going to ask this question first. Because I know these trucks that you guys were in, obviously still on the closer end of pre-production than on production. They've probably been beat up a good bit and driven a bunch. I know there's a couple people that we're all familiar with, Kyle and Skylar and I are familiar with. This person is curious about the rattling on the Bluetooth speaker while you're driving.
There was nothing.
No rattling, no nothing.
No, there was nothing. I paid attention to the noise. I kind of, some background about me. I've driven. I learned to drive a stick shift on a farming tractor. I have driven semi trucks to, Dodges with diesels in them, all the way down to your little Honda cars that worry you when they get into an accident. So I've kind of been like, that noise factor is really important to me. It's something I kind of pay a lot of attention to, and I did not hear that thing rattle once. It was the vehicle is just really well put together, and and this is just production phase. So imagine what they're going to look like when they actually get out. Right now, they're still going through all the tweaks. They're still going through, let's tighten up this, let's tighten up that. So I would have been happy just taking one of those home. Those would have been fine.
Yeah.
So it's only going to get better. But no noise. I didn't hear you.
That's a great answer. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you mentioned your driving experience and having such a breadth of it. And so I am going to come to that, but I'm going to take the next two, guys. Sorry. The 10-second,
you're good.
How about like a 20 or 30-second answer? We've already heard this, but like you're in Florida and a lot of sun right now and in the South, and we've mentioned the glass roof to others, and they didn't seem to notice any problems. Did you notice? I'm sure that you were very perceptive to that, knowing that. And can you just speak into that for a little bit?
I was, and I asked them, that was something I was really concerned about, actually, because, the vehicles already get warm as it is. And actually, two factors that I was worried about is, one, is it going to cook the inside of the truck? Is that where I'm going to start cooking my pizzas? And then two, how much battery life is it going to take from the vehicle to keep the inside cool at the level you set it at? And they addressed both instantly. They talked about kind of the UV technology that's put into the glass to help care for the inside of the vehicle. And then as far as battery consumption, keeping it cool, it's going to be near non-existent. I found with a Tesla in Florida that it would take quite a bit of battery life off just to kind of keep it cool through the day. So that definitely was a concern, and they addressed it with ease.
So I'm going to then take it into this next thing. We've got Tracy, the 18-wheel driver, to the Pinto driver, and everything in between. You mentioned that you currently drive a truck. Could you tell us what truck you drive? But then you had the chance to drive over different terrains and all that, and you don't have to give the play-by-play, but I'm just looking for overall feedback as to, for one, the experience that they set up, but then two, just overall driving impressions. Ready, set, go.
I currently drive a 2015 Ford F-150, and my driving experience was probably different from everyone else's. I kind of come from the boating community, and in the boating community, we have a saying, and we say, go as fast as you want to hit something. And so when I was driving, I told them I'm not really looking to go fast. I want to put this thing at angles. I want turns. I want all of that kind of jazz. I want to see how far can I push it from that perspective until things start getting a little dicey. I probably would have flipped the F-150 easily 3 or 4 times had I been using that instead of the R1T. I put it as much of an angle as I can. I remember seeing nothing but ground, so it's kind of like laying a sailboat sideways. I remember looking straight up and seeing nothing but sky and clouds, and there wasn't a single point in time where I questioned or was concerned about the vehicle flipping or turning. So my experience was absolutely phenomenal. I got it stuck once or twice, but that was really, it wasn't due to the truck. It was due to me, the driver, and stepping back and going, okay, I need to do this right way. I need to go about it a different way, or I need to keep my foot on the pedal and don't worry about going down the other side of the big mountain. So phenomenal experience, and I really appreciated it because now I know I'm going to take it out on the beach and it's going to come back, and I will probably be the one towing people off the beach.
Mm-hmm. Very cool, man. Great feedback. You guys got any follow-ups?
I know from driving F-150s of friends and stuff, the body roll in that truck is, I don't want to say severe, but there's quite a bit of body roll, especially in the ones that I've driven. How would you compare the two? I mean, obviously in the setting, the settings are configurable on the R1T, but even in maybe one of the more limber settings, what did you experience, and how would you compare the two?
So I came back to Florida, and my truck was in a garage where you have to do a bunch of twists and turns to get down. And I got in my truck and I started driving it. And as I was going, I was like, oh, look, I own a wobbly truck now. This is fantastic. So that's how much of an impact and how much of a difference it made. Like, just to sit in that truck for really, it was just an hour, really. Well, a little more than that if you include being a passenger. But between being a passenger and driving it, it was very steady, and just through all the bumps and turns and drifts, it was just stable. I'm pretty sure had I had an open cup of coffee in there, I would have still had it had I not drank it during the fun. The Ford, however, I would have been wearing the coffee, and it just would have been a mess. So it's steady, it's calm, and it knows what it's doing.